Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video, we have part 4 to the top 20 best cars of each car brand series. We started with BMW, then we went and did Nissan, then we did Chevy pretty recently, actually, and now we're doing Volvo. But today, we only have top 20 because I, for the life of me, cannot find 25 Volvos that are even worth mentioning on this video. So if you guys think I missed 5, please let me know in the comment section down below, and then those could be the other 5 that I didn't include. Somebody challenged me with this video, by the way, so for those that are going to be like, oh wow, okay, so this guy's a big Volvo enthusiast, he knows a lot about Volvos. Nope, absolutely not. I don't know the first thing about most of these cars, so please take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt. I'm not the biggest Volvo guy out there, but somebody kept asking for it and it kept getting a bunch of likes, so I was like, you know what, fine. I'll do a top 20 best Volvos in my opinion. Also, for those that are going to be like, wow, this guy has the girliest setup. He's wearing a pink hoodie, got like bright blue stuff back there. He's got a picture of some man. If anybody knows who that guy is, let me know, but a picture of his man on his wall. I'm recording in my little sister's room, so that's why. But without further ado, let's go right into it with number 20. And that honor goes to the Volvo 300 series. These things are old. They're old, little, very small little cars. That's, again, about the gist of what I know about them. I can't imagine they're that fast, but for some reason, every time I looked up, like, hey, best Volvos ever, this is one of the ones that kept popping up. People were like, yeah, these cars are freaking sick. So here it is. Coming in at the number 19 spot, however, is the Volvo S60R second generation. They actually, I don't even know if they actually have an S60R. I just know that they do have an S60. But they do, but yeah, the S60s, I actually do know a little bit about them. They're sedans. They're relatively like entry-level Volvos, I would say. But the S60Rs are quick little boys, man. They're nothing to be played around with. They're like, honestly speaking, probably better than WRXs. Now, I said it, and this one is no different. It does definitely look like a little bit of a mom car stock, but modify it and it's a cool car. 18th place is going to a vehicle that I always think looks like the DeLorean whenever I see it. The Volvo 780 Coupe. Yeah, I think they look like DeLoreans. I don't know why. It just does. It's like got that same style where it's like all freaking like boxied up and everything like that. It has cool headlights. I'm assuming they're rear wheel drive, which is really awesome. Volvo, that's one thing I love about Volvo. A lot of them are rear wheel drive, man, which means you can have some freaking fun with these bad boys. It is an older one, but older Volvos are arguably better than new Volvos anyways. Yeah, number 17, however, is going to the Volvo 480, a car that I learned about for this video. Never knew about it before this video, so I don't know much about them, by the way, so sorry about that. But I kind of fell in love with them, to be honest. This thing is really cool. It's like so weird and wacky looking. It's a hatchback. It has pop-up headlights. I can't think of many other hatchbacks that have pop-up headlights. I mean, like the A86. Like that's it. That's like the only other hatchback I can think of with pop-up headlights. It also has like really cool looking taillights, and I love when cars have cool taillights. It's a 2-door. Everything. This car is freaking sick, man. I don't know anything about it. It's probably front-wheel drive, probably really slow. I don't care. It's awesome. 16th place is going to an iconic one, and we are going to be talking about both of them here. The Volvo Amazon 122. There's also like the 122S, which is like the wagon version of this car, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, these things are really old. I mean, we're talking like 60s at this point. This is like the beginning of Volvo's entire runtime. But there's a reason why people are still talking about these things, man. They are just still, to this day, incredible vehicles. They're beautiful cars. They don't look anything like modern Volvos whatsoever, by the way. They are smaller, so you know, if you're a taller gentleman, maybe don't buy one of these, but they're gorgeous. 15th place is a car that I actually saw in person like maybe a week or two ago. The Volvo P1800. These things are weird looking, man. They look like a car in like The Incredibles, like a car that you would see in like Fallout 4 or something like that. It doesn't look like a car out of real life, but they're obviously another very classic one. People love these things from the dawn of time. I don't know much about them. I do know of them though. Before I made this video, I did know about these cars, but I still don't know much about what they are. 14th place is going to an absolute bang-a-mite. The Volvo PV544. This is a weird old-ish, well, definitely old, but old hatchback wagon type thing that for some reason is a really good race car. I don't understand what it is about Volvo, guys, but they will make every single Volvo ever made a race car if they have to, just to prove that Volvos are good cars. Listen, you don't have to prove that to us, Volvo guys, okay? We already know. The PV544 did not need to be like a dominant rally car. It didn't need to do that. I don't know why you guys did it. 13th place, on the other hand, is going to a bit of a basic one, but I always just loved them. It's the Volvo C30. I got this one time I made a video and I was like, underrated cars, and I mentioned the Volvo C30 in it, and they were like, that's a grandma car, bro. Why would you ever want to drive that? If that's a grandma car, call me Aunt Jemima. Okay, because I would love to drive that thing, dude. These things are really good looking cars, in my opinion. The front end looks like sporty, while the rear end looks wacky, and I love that about Volvos. Volvos always make their cars look just like so futuristic and wild, and that's exactly what the Volvo C30 is. 12th place is going to a top contender for the Mercedes and BMW 7 Series, the Volvo S80 first generation. If you want a cheap, very luxurious car that's reliable and safe, this is what you get. I literally, before I made this video, I was like, I don't understand all the hype behind Volvos. You know, I never really have. And I still don't get all the hype behind it. I'm not going to lie and be like, yeah, you guys are right. I still think that some people overhype Volvo. But I'm so starting to understand. Like, this car is reliable and does everything that Mercedes wants to do and BMW 7 Series wants to do, while for much cheaper, and it's safer. It's like, it's just such a good car, man. 11th place is another Volvo that I actually don't know too much about, and so I pretty much just put it here because I think it looks pretty cool. The Volvo C70. It reminds me very, very much like a Volvo, the what are they called? The Volvo 850s, those Volvo 850s, but coupe version. And coupe Volvos are always like really interesting to me. They always are. I never can tell if I like them or not, and this one is one of those cars. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I don't like it. I saw one of these in person again not too long ago, actually. For some reason, and I know this is going to sound crazy, I have recently been noticing a lot more Volvos in my town. Maybe it's because I made the video on them, but people are driving these classic Volvos now. But breaking its way into the top 10, that's me motorboating your mom, is going to the Volvo 262C. It's a very classic old 200 series Volvo. It's pretty decent. I'm not going to talk about this one too much. It's a coupe version of another car that we are going to be talking about later. 9th place, however, is going to an absolute unit. It is going to the wonderful Volvo XC90 V8. This car is like, people, you know how people talk about the 4Runners, they talk about the Highlanders, they talk about the Pathfinders, they talk about the Xterras, and they talk about all these SUVs that are overlanding beasts, and then they never talk about the XC90 V8, and it's just like, you're committing a crime. This engine was so good that they used it in the Noble M400, man. Like, that's just awesome. Maybe it's the M600, I can't remember which one it was, but it's one of the Noble supercars. Like, this motor was reliable, powerful, and realistically, yes, it's a mom car. It doesn't look crazy, but it's such a good overlanding vehicle. 8th place, however, is going to one that I've always thought is just drop dead gorgeous. Like, I don't know anything about it besides the fact that it is freaking sexy. The Volvo V60. This thing is like, when people talk about how, oh, modern cars are just falling downhill, man, they don't make them like they used to. I think this is probably one of the best successors to a very legendary car that I've ever seen. This is unbelievably cool looking. It looks, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie when I say this. You guys are gonna think I'm exaggerating. I actually think that this car looks cooler than like an Audi RS6 Avant. I'm not even kidding. And it's a wagon. Like, sign me up. I honestly, now that I have seen these cars again, I'm honestly thinking about buying one. Coming in at 7th place, however, is going to one that a lot of people modify. A lot of people love these ones. The Volvo 740. The Volvo 740 is one of their iconic platforms. It's interesting style choice, in my opinion. I think it's kind of like a weird mixture. It's like a sportier looking Volvo 240 to me, but people freaking Russia, partner, you go to Russia, these things are literally like Camrys to them. They're drifting them every single on ramp, off ramp. It's a Volvo 740 doing a drift. You got to include it in a list about great Volvos. 6th place, my bad, is going to one that's kind of a cheat code, but it's the Polestar 1. Notice I didn't even say Volvo there because technically this is a Polestar vehicle. Polestar was obviously Volvo's tuning company, in-house tuning program that decided to branch off and start their own company, kind of like SRT or Mustang, I think, did that too. But they made this car, the Polestar 1. It's one of the most, it reminds me a lot of like an LC500. It's one of the most expensive Volvos ever made. It's one of the most sporty Volvos ever made. It obviously deserves to be on this list, but I don't know if people are going to get mad at me since it's not technically a Volvo. But we all know it is a Volvo. In 5th place, you can't do it better than your granddaddy, because 5th place is the Volvo V70R. This is what the V60 was trying to recreate. And remember I said the V60 is absolutely gorgeous? It is. It's an absolutely gorgeous car, but unfortunately, performance-wise, I just don't think that the V60 holds a candle to the V70R, so I put it higher. This car, I mean, you can't even, it's really hard to find a V70R even under 10K nowadays because people just want them. They're all-wheel drive, making 300 horsepower. They're turbocharged wagons. Like, who in their right mind is going to say no to that car? That's a freaking great car. 4th place is going to the, again, you can't do it better than your granddaddy, because it's the Volvo S60R 1st generation now. The 2nd gen is just definitely a little bit of a disappointment compared to the 1st gen. The 1st gen was an unbelievable just monster of a car. These things, like, I don't think people understand how good the S60R 1st generation is. It has like 300 horsepower, it's all-wheel drive, kind of like, it's honestly kind of like the V70R but in sedan form, and I already told you about how amazing the V70R is, so that should tell you how amazing this car is. Coming in at 3rd place is going to a car that I admittedly don't know anything about, but everybody was saying it's one of the most legendary Volvos of all time, so I knew I had to put it at 3rd place. The Volvo P1900. It's just one of those cars where it's like, it's built in like the 50s. It's like their first attempt at a sports car, so people love it because of that legendary status. Things like the Mazda Unos Cosmo, but the Mazda Cosmo, things like the freaking Datsun 510. Cars like those, where it's like, this is what started that company's sports car or race car heritage, and so it obviously deserves it just for that. And 2nd place is going to the Volvo 850R. I want a Volvo 850R for absolutely no reason. I could not explain to anybody out there the first thing about the Volvo 850R. I really don't know much about them, if I'm being honest, but I just love them. Every time I see a video of a Volvo 850R, man, I get teary-eyed. As a matter of fact, you can't see it right now, but I'm starting to, oh, the room's getting full of water because I'm starting to cry so much. Oh, help, help. All jokes aside, it actually is just an incredible performance package. This car looks incredibly similar, though, to the Volvo 740. Just wanted to point that out. Like, I can't tell. If you show me a picture of an 850R and a 740 next to each other, I would not be able to tell you what the difference was. But 1st place, the best Volvo of all time is obvious. It's the Volvo 242 Turbo. The Volvo 200 series in general is just unbelievable, man. They really are. There's a reason why, like, when everybody thinks of Volvo, this is the car they think of. There's so many people in my town that still drive these things just every day, daily. They have like 300,000 miles and they're still driving them because they just last. The 242 Turbo is obviously a little bit more sporty than the regular 200 series is, and so that's why I decided to use that specific trim level, but all the 200 series deserve 1st place. This is the reason why I didn't really talk too much about the 262C, because it's realistically just a 2-door version of a 200 series. It's just the same thing pretty much, but they're just incredible cars. 240s, 244s, 242 turbos, whatever it may be. 240, I think they even made 246s if I'm not mistaken, are just incredible cars. Safe as absolute hell. These cars are like some of the reasons why we have some of the safety features we have today. Reliable as hell, and they still look good while also looking classy, and they will never, ever in a million years become an outdated car. It just looks good. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 20 best Volvos of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Let me know in particular what other car brands you'd like to see me rank now, because we're doing them, baby. We're not giving up on this idea until I get pretty much every car brand I can possibly think of off the top of my head. I want to start knocking out some that are going to be a little bit boring, you know, because so far we've done nothing but fun ones. BMW, Nissan, Chevy, Volvo. These are popular car brands that people love. So I want to get into a couple of other car brands that not that many people care about. So I might be doing something like Peugeot next, or like Pontiac or Saturn or something like that. Something that's just not like super popular, if that makes any sense. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.